welcome everyone. I want to particularly welcome the team that made this happen, and that has been an amazing effort. I also want to welcome in particular the donors who may see sometimes themselves in some of these training videos in the portal. So Pim, you may see yourself, Sergio, you may see yourself. It's part of the over 600 sources we have in this portal.
بس هل انتوا بتستعينوا بالبلوجر مثلا يسوق هذا الشيء بتاعتكم او كده؟
تمام. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, thank you. And we have trainers here. I see Prem, I see others. Chris, welcome all the way from Indonesia. We had a steering committee in addition to a team that put it together. I welcome and thank everyone on the steering committee. And taking it a step back, this particular initiative was the result of doing lots of training and realizing that the level of participants differs a lot. So we have participants who are very experienced, and then you have participants who are new in a position. And we want to give the best possible workshop that we possibly can give. And as a result of that, we want to really focus on what in education is a real buzzword, and that's student-centered learning. You really want to focus on where the student is at and then take the student to the next level. And part of that is that when we run workshops, that everyone is more or less at the same level. Now, that is rarely possible, or you end up selecting the best of the best who actually do not need the training. And we didn't want that either. We wanted to have as many people possible in the training, but also people well prepared. So the idea was, gosh, there is so much existing material. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's be good with our sources of information, and let's aggregate. Let's put together all these sources that are out there. And that's how it started. And when we went through these sources, there are so many text training courses out there. It's unbelievable. And some really sound the same as others. And often we see that those countries with lots of money have been able to put courses together, and countries with less money have not been able to put courses together. And the result is we all a product of our own culture, is that it is often a particular viewpoint or a particular approach that is emphasized in these text training courses. And we wanted diversity. We also wanted the views of private industry. This is a partnership, a public-private partnership, Capabuild. So we wanted to have that diversity reflected in the portal, but we didn't want to create courses that are already out there. So instead, we put together all the courses that are out there that we think are of a decent quality. Now, I let the team explain this in way more detail than I now summarize it, but that was the idea. And now we launch it, and I actually have already been able to use it a few times to refer colleagues in tax revenue authorities around the world to say, listen, let me not explain this to you. There is in the portal a source that explains this perfectly. Here is the link. Go and look at it, and you will find your answer. And what we want is that in future, participants can prepare, if they're not at a particular level, that we can actually put a package together prior to the training to say, what would be good is that you do these particular courses that are available via the portal. That is the idea, to make the training itself, when we provide it, as tailored and as successful and effective as it possibly can be. And now, after this very long introduction, I will hand over to the team that I have seen so many times. It's a brilliant team. Susan, Anthel, Monique, Cecil, learn more. It's your floor, it's your product, and this is over to this absolutely fabulous team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gita. And apologies earlier on for the sound confusion. I was getting messages that the sound was blocking, but we will now hear from Atia, who heads up the Committee on Fiscal Studies, which is the team we've partnered with, and then we will throw over to the team.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am so honored and delighted to be speaking to you today. I unfortunately cannot join you, but I have to say on behalf of Dr. Leila Latif and the Committee on Fiscal Studies here at the University of Nairobi, we are so excited to have this TAP portal out and ready. I'm delighted also because, of course, it doesn't just include some people's work, but it includes everybody's work, which means that there will hopefully be no reason for duplication of materials. But I'm also specifically glad because the team, the fantastic team, have actually used and looked for work from developing countries and specifically targeted that. So thank you very much, team. Well done. We are super proud of you. And I'm looking forward to seeing people using this portal and benefiting from it. Thank you very much again.
Indeed, thank you very much, Digita. So we're going to start with Cecil Abigail, who has been an inspiration in her creative energy, and she's going to talk us through the design of the portal.
Thank you, Gary. Hi, everyone. My name is Cecil Abigail, and I'm so happy to announce the launch of the Tax Aggregator portal, and I feel very honored to be able to join in this team. In this past moment, we have been collaboratively working at this online pathway to text articles and courses, wherein we have been focusing on adding design and UX input. In order to offer a usable experience, we have added several pathways to swiftly find the right courses and materials. So think of navigation filters that you can find on the top of the portal and right under the search bar, and call to action for topics, and also a map to filter on regional results. Also, in order to make sure that the platform is accessible and equitable, we have launched with 3 available languages: English, French, and Bahasa Indonesia. We will improve these languages. Maybe later we will add another languages, and where we aim to provide an easy access to the tools to improve the tax knowledge for everyone, pursue a fairer and more equitable global tax system. But this is just a start. We look forward to keep on improving the platform. We will keep working and then just keep improving to meet the user needs. And I hope the material will be getting more and more, and everyone can enjoy the portal, and then found a lot of the material will be more rich than right now. That was my brief explanation regarding the design and layout of Tax Aggregator portal. Once again, I congratulate all those who have been involved in the establishment of this portal. Thank you for all of your support, and for all the tax enthusiasts who attend today. Enjoy this Tax Aggregator portal. Thank you.
Amthel Mndri, who's based in Cote d'Ivoire, has also been a critical part of the formation of this portal, and he's going to talk us through some of the features now.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. Since before starting, I would like to say merci beaucoup. Thank you, and Ashanti Sana for all of you who have accepted the invitation to join us today for the launching of the TAP. Since I'm Otem Undri, and I'm one of the researchers and the developer of this project. And it pleases mine to present you 3 features that will ease your journey on the TAP. Since have a comfortable seat and let me jump in. The first things to present is a search bar that we have on the top, which give an auto proposition when you start tapping in, since you can search for all you want, including keywords or title of a specific cases. So this is an example of how it works on the screens, and it's very amazing. It's very simple. The second feature is the subtopics widgets, which we are trying to classify in a way to cover all the areas in the taxation fields, since you can click on and select the subtopic in which you are interested in before validating and filtering it. And talking about the third feature, you will find it interesting, I know, since many of you today join us from different regions in the world, and the TAP map was built to take this into account, since do you need material for specific regions, such as West Africa, Southern Africa, Latin America, East Asia, I don't know. Since you can make your choice and enjoy your journey. And so we also encourage you to submit the material that you find relevant to your regions, and to get in touch by getting in touch with us after. Since thanks again for your time, and let me leave the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Yes, so thank you, Anselm. My name is Susan Yara from Kenya. Hi all, thank you very much for making time to attend. And I will take you through the filters and basically now what TAP has to offer in terms of specifications. So we are delighted to inform you that TAP was designed to make it easier for the users to get what they need according to what now they would desire. And if you go through the filter, you will be able to see that you can access the different courses and also the subtopics. And then you can also go to the type of resource that will be there. And this is in terms of the courses, podcasts, publications, webinars, and also the lectures. And then you will also be able to sift through the geographic area. And here we have materials from different continents, and some will even have the countries labeled. Yes, so now we have the Africa, Americas, Asia, Europe, the Global South, and also all in general. So after that, we shall go through the level. Yes, you will be able to see whether you are in the entry level, intermediate level, advanced level, and also all if you're not looking through, a specified level. And then in terms of English, in terms of language proficiency, there's the there's the low language proficiency, medium language proficiency, and also the high language proficiency. And after that, you'll be able to sift through the data bandwidth. So you will notice that some of these courses require either low data bandwidth, medium, or even high. And then as you go through the cost, some of these materials are free, but then some have medium, high cost, and now you can be able also to see through them all without looking at the cost. So then we also took time to look through what these resources have to offer and how long they would take you to either read or to either watch or just either sift through. So some will take an hour, some half a day, 1 day, and so on and so forth, and some will even take 6 months. So thank you. We hope that the filters will help you in your journey towards exploring TAP, and we are very, very excited to share it with you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Muniki. I am a researcher at the Committee on Fiscal Studies, and I am here to speak about the quantity and quality of the resources on the tap. Please confirm you can hear me. Super, thank you very much, and thank you very much for the speakers who've gone before me. Thank you very much to you, Susan, to Anthelm, to Cecil, and to you for being part of this launch. It's been a really thrilling morning on my end, I must say. So the quantity and quality of the resources on the tap have been and remain to be a key driver in the ethos behind it. So as opposed to a typical run-of-the-mill type of resource repository, the tap gets material based on the relevance to the global south, as we've referenced time and again within this launch, and the relevance to the present fiscal situations that we find ourselves in. So the tap aggregates the resources across 5 core themes. We have domestic taxation, we have international taxation, digital taxation, tax administration, as well as environmental/carbon taxation. Presently, the TAP has collected approximately 603 resources across the 5 themes, and the dates of publication range from 2017 through to 2023, and we project that this number will grow gradually as we continue scaling the TAP. The TAP leverages the different types of resources to provide a wide array of training material for its users. For instance, where one will search the keywords environmental taxes in Africa, we'd come up to a total of just about 28 results of mixed resources, which include webinars, YouTube videos, as well as papers and articles. On an interesting note, one of our communities here in Kenya has a proverb that says milk and honey have different colors, but they share the same house peacefully. It is indeed the diversity of the resources that are that makes it what it is. And really, I invite us to take a look around and share its offering. I now invite my colleague Lanu to take us through the remainder of the presentation. Thank you very much for being part of this auspicious day. Thank you.
Thank you, Manik. I will briefly show my video for the so that you know who is learning more, but I will switch it because of my poor bandwidth so that I can proceed. Otherwise, thank you very much. So greetings from the Southern Africa. I feel honored to be part and parcel of this group. I'm here just to speak about the purpose of the text aggregator portal. I think in a way I'm just repeating some of the things that have been said. So basically, it provides online access to existing text material, which can be videos, documents, and a number of things in form of trainings. It also empowers the voice of the developing countries and build capacity for a fairer world. It also allows users to choose the most relevant category. Imagine you are going on internet and you are just looking for the specific type of text material that you would want to use. And in terms of the intended audience, it is mainly for the text administrators and practitioners in the global south. Sorry. Okay, I'll proceed. So I was saying the intended audience basically it is mainly for the tax administration practitioners and the revenue service providers in these countries. But we also target like students, researchers, and anyone who's interested in tax issues. And by providing access to high quality text material, the portal aims to help these individuals and organizations to improve their knowledge and skills in tax administration, thereby promoting more effective and efficient revenue collection. I say so because as a person who comes from, let's say, Zimbabwe, which highly depends on tax, we really need to improve our tax revenue collections, and that's the main intention. That is, if you are to ask me. So in short, I would say this is just a one-stop border post. If it was a border post, a one-stop shop in terms of tax resource material in the global south. Thank you very much. Over to you, Gary.
Thank you so much, Learn More, and Susan, Waniki, Cecil, and Thelm. As you can see, it's been a wonderful team effort that's come together, and we've had a wonderful time collaborating and getting an understanding of each country and each specific area's needs. we are very conscious of your time. We promised you a 20-minute launch, and so we have provided for you some of the real basic background details of the tap and its functionality. So if you are willing, we would love for you to stay on. We're going to have a little bit of a chat about some more details around it, but we do appreciate that you may be on a lunch break or may need to attend another meeting. So please feel free to depart if that's the case. We are going to bring the team together for you now, and we're going to just have a brief discussion and talk a little bit about how we actually aggregated the resources. And I'm going to act as a little bit of a moderator, but I'm just going to ask the panel that you have in front of you what some of the biggest challenges were in bringing the resources together, because this hasn't been an easy path. So Monique, apologies for putting you on the spot first, but I was just wondering if you'd like to elaborate on some of the challenges that were faced.
Absolutely. I mean, I was thinking about it this morning, actually, when I was getting ready to open this call and just being super excited. And it took me back to some of the preliminary discussions we had where we talked about some of the resources that we're trying to access are behind paywalls. So how do we capture that, and how do we make this as accessible as possible? Sometimes we come into a space where the resources that we are trying to aggregate aren't necessarily fresh. They aren't necessarily up to date. They don't capture the essence of the global south as we know it now. I think one of the benefits that we have as the team that came up with the aggregation work could be we are quite alive to what's going on in the continent, what's going on in different areas. So we then picked up on the resources that are quite relevant to us and quite they capture the essence of where we are and what you're trying to deal with. That being said, I think some of the challenges would be your regular bandwidth issues, and that we then captured within the filters. So we realize as we're aggregating the material, we can't necessarily access one or two resources because of the bandwidth restrictions in our countries, or because of the bandwidth restrictions on our data. So that we then took into consideration as we were coming up with the filters. Some of the considerations would also they mirror the experiences that we had while aggregating and collecting the material. So in a nutshell, I would say we came into quite a bit of challenges, but we turned all of these into what we would call mana, or whatever else we want to term it as. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you very much, Monique. I might just throw over to Susan, who's also joining us from Nairobi, and just ask what are some of the things that you learnt from this process of pulling together such a wide array of resources?
Yeah, so it has been a very tough but very fulfilling journey. I would say that we struggled with the categorization of these resources. So first of all, we had like a wide array of categories, and then now we had to narrow down the categories, and also we had to look at our target audience. So like we're asking ourselves, who is our audience now? Who would you want, for these materials to be accessible to, and how now will they be useful to these people? So for that, we also had a series of meetings, and then we said, okay, this is our target audience. So that really helps in like having clarity in the materials that you are looking for. And then the other thing was in relevance, we had to really look for relevant materials. And that one took quite some time because yes, we would find so many materials, but then how now would they be relevant, and how now would they be timely to this century and to the issues that we are facing as a society. And also we had to look for materials that were clear, that now were able to depict their ideas clearly, such that anyone who would be accessing these materials would be able to understand and would be helped. Yeah, so that was just among the challenges that we faced.
Thank you very much, Susan. And Thelm, you've been very instrumental in being the hub in drawing things together. What do you see as a bit of a vision for how the TAP will be used? We've heard from our chair, Gita, how it is really a key part of our trainings at Capabuild, and how we would like to use it to really prepare people as they come into our trainings. How else do you envision it going out into the world?
So to the world, as the development about the taxations areas is very crucial, and it is also crucial for official from tax administrations to get updates about the tools to take the right decision and policy to address taxation issues, particularly in Global South, since the vision of this portal is to give this opportunity to these officials and to have the right tools, and by accessing trainings materials through the tax aggregator portals, since it is also addressed to tax enthusiasts and students in taxation fields who like taxations thematics, since we strongly encourage the use of the tax aggregator portal and share it in your network.
Super, indeed, Anthel. We'd like to spread it far and wide. And we have Cecil Abigail, who's part of the Capabuild ecosystem, as we call it, and has been key in driving a lot of the TAP's look and feel and also usability. How do you see it being used, Cecil?
Yeah, it's a fun journey working with this team. Because we aim the same goal, but we also want with the design we also want to focus on the user. So our goal was and until now still how user from different background, from different age, can enjoy the portal itself. They can easily use the portal. They can easily find the text material that they're looking for. So it's a long journey, but it was it's really fun. And as I mentioned before, we're not stopping in here because the target audience will be bigger and bigger. We explore more about that, and then we would like to understand more about our user. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, super. And I will share with you briefly a link tree, which has some relevant links in it, but particularly some feedback. So you can click on that and tell us your thoughts on the portal. Learn more. I might cross over to you there in Harare. And when we heard from you before, you were talking about just how vital tax is to Zimbabwe. What role do you think the portal will play in raising the ability of Zimbabwe and other countries in the global south to raise revenue collection? So how do you see the portal sort of feeding into other training mechanisms and standing alone?
Thank you very much, Gary. I think it's very useful because of all the people that we said we have been targeting. We have got researchers in Zimbabwe, we have got the tax administrators being Zimbabwe Revenue Authority. We have got the University of the MSU, which also offers some fiscal studies, which has to do with the tax. So if we combine, if all those people are to take advantage of the portal, I think for the tax administrators, they improve in terms of their skills and performance in terms of collecting revenue. For those students, instead of struggling, taking so many times looking for resources, if they go on that portal, it will make it easier for them in terms of they're doing their assignment, their researches, and so forth. Then in terms of practitioners, It's an opportunity to see what is happening in other countries. What are the updates, especially in terms of the current global tax issues that are going on. So it really helps us in a number of ways. Then in terms of revenue collection, like I said, for the revenue collectors, if they're to see this portal and they use maximum utilization of those resources, in the end, I think we will be able to collect more revenue and improve our tax to GDP ratio, not only in Zimbabwe, but also in Africa and the global south at large. Thank you very much, Gary. Over to you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you, Learnmore. I'll just ask one final question to the panel, and then we'll throw it over, and we might have a go at answering Daniel's question there on showing how the portal can be useful. But I think hopefully those of you who are listening in, you'll appreciate that the portal has been designed with a real focus on tax revenue officials and tax practitioners and interested people from the Global South. And so we've introduced the filters around your data bandwidth, which can be a challenge, language proficiency, access and cost. So I'll just throw open to the panel and talk about what do you think is the real strength of the Tax Aggregator portal, and why do you think people in the Global South in particular will resonate with it? So we might throw over to you, Monique, first of all, and then anyone else, please feel free to add your opinions.
Thanks, Gary. Absolutely. To reiterate what we had said earlier, by we have been collecting, I think it's part of what the team is feeling. I think the biggest diversity, rather the main diversity would be the quantity of resources and the quality of resources, the wideness of the resources that we've been able to capture so far. And also, I think just to bring it closer, I would say the idea behind us speaking to work by the Global South, or work for the Global South, and work relevant to the Global South. I think that's the biggest driver. That's the biggest point of difference as opposed to all the other resource repositories. And just seeing where we are as at the point of launch now, then imagining where we could go in the next few years, in the next few moments, really, as try to scale it and try to collect as much resources as possible. And as Cecil said, understanding our use, I think that eventually we'll be able to, for lack of a better, just tighten it a whole lot better, then bring us to even better quality uses. So just to answer your question, in a roundabout way, I would say the quantity and the quality of the resources is the biggest strength that I see for the TAP at the moment. That and the team. I think the team is also one of the biggest strengths behind the TAP. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. Anyone else like to jump in there and add anything else?
Yeah, so I'll add something. I think that TAP resonates with so many tax professionals and also early career researchers. This is because of the availability of the various topics, and also we tried as much as we can now to cater for each category. So I think that that's our strength.
Yes, Gary, maybe just to add to what the previous speakers have said, I think not only that this portal is useful to tax administrators per se, but even for a general person, because if you look at the portal, it is classified in a way that even those who don't have a strong background in terms of tax can still explore and know more about it. And this is one of the things that I desire to see, people getting to know more about taxes. Because normally, where I came from, tax issues are mainly they're thought to be meant for those who are in the field, the tax experts. But I think as an individual, you have to understand, why do you need to pay taxes? How are they used? What are they for? And these TAP, the Tax Aggregator portal, provide all such type of information. So it will direct you to wherever you want to know in terms of taxes. So that on itself, the strength. We don't have such type of a portal so far. So I think that in itself is a powerful point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Learn More. And maybe as a case in point, we'll take Daniel's question from the chat, which is looking for a synopsis of effective carbon prices with some detail around that. And what I'll do is maybe take that as an example of how the TAP can be used. So if you're looking for, with that particular question in mind, and thinking I'm looking for some really detailed information on carbon pricing, you can use the search bar up the top and put carbon pricing in, and then the TAP will run its magic and search through a huge database of resources. And what it will come up with is, I believe there's around about 18 different resources available. And of course, you could also specify a little bit more on what type of resource that you're looking for, or you could jump straight to the environmental taxation subtopic if you are looking for a little bit more information. Or if you are looking in particular for African or Asian resources, you could also add that level of detail in. So with the search feature, it allows you to just go straight to it. But we could assume that environmental taxes is going to be where, oh, I've got a very slow internet connection at the moment, so you can see that the portal is designed for people like myself. I can click on the low bandwidth option. While we're waiting for that to load, I'll just remind you that this link tree, which I've sent through, has lots of the different details in there. And so it allows you to go to the portal, gives you a little bit of information, but also the feedback there. So we jump back there and we can have a look at the TAP, and let's go to carbon pricing again. And hopefully your internet connections aren't as slow and unwieldy as mine. And here it's brought up our carbon pricing resources. And so, Daniel, for example, you could choose from any of these resources to answer your question, specific as it may be. So going in and finding out those details. Now, the point of the portal is that this is not Capabuild or CFS providing answers for you, but it is a conduit. It's an aggregator of all of the current available materials. So it's a way for you to then go in and look through those courses themselves and extract, if you like, excuse the pun, the information that you need and gain that learning. As the chair, Gita Hage, explained to us at the opening of the meeting, we are looking at ways of creating sort of catered pathways through the portal, so that when we have trainers who are, I beg your pardon, trainees who are coming to us from different revenue services, we can provide for them the training materials that will bring them up to the level that will then allow the training to run smoothly. So Daniel, I hope that's answered your question. And again, we are reminded that you may be very busy, and we thank you very much for your time in sharing this experience with us and allowing us to show you through the portal. And as Anthelm so rightfully said, it would be great if you spread the word, spread the link, and get people using it. So if you do need to head off to other engagements, please feel free. But we will now open the floor to any questions. Please feel free to type a question either into the chat within Zoom, or take yourself off mute and jump in and ask the panel or myself any question that you might have. Brenda, please.
Hi, Craig. Thank you. Thank you for the platform. This is a really good portal. I think it'll be very useful. So I just had one question on the information. How often is the team going to be updating, considering there are other jurisdictions which are constantly changing their tax policy?
Yeah, a great question. Would anyone from the panel like to talk to that?
Yeah, probably I could. Thank you very much for your question. I think one of the considerations that we have had as we were coming up with the portal and the idea behind the aggregation was to make sure that we are as relevant as possible. So as we go now, we are still figuring out the mechanics of archiving and refreshing. However, it's not open to, or rather, it's not closed off to certain periods. So we update it as we go. So with as fresh information pops up, we definitely are able to calculate on the go. I think that's also one of the strengths of the portal. So it's not just a repository; it's a very live repository. So as information is populated, as we catch wind of information, we then are able to run it through the process and upload it on the portal and tweak it as relevant a position for our users as possible. So I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brenda, for that acknowledgement. Absolutely, it is a live portal that, and you know, some resources will slide off as they become less relevant, and hopefully many more will be added to it. So it'll be one we'll keep monitoring. Any other questions?
May I, Gary?
Please.
Yeah, I feel silly that I am one asking this question, because I've watched this journey from the sideline, and I am across all the 600 resources, and I can say that with hand on my heart. I had a question: how can it be combined with tools to translate it into another language than the main language is provided, given, well, as you can hear, I'm not a native speaker in English, and it's a struggle for many of us when we read or try to follow something in a video that's in another language. Can it be combined with particular tools that, like I use Google Translate from time to time? But can someone answer that? I truly don't have the answer.
Hi, Gita. Trying to answer your question. So yes, thank you so much for the question. And then I believe that a lot of people in this room today also have that question. So we previously in the beginning stage of this portal, we have two options of languages. It's English and French, but we also thinking about other people in the other part of Global South. So we added another languages right now. It's Bahasa Indonesia. I can honestly say that it's quite a hard journey to work on the languages, because we want to make sure that it's a correct translation. We don't want to just like choose the tools and then later the translation is not matched with the actual text or materials. So we still progressing on working on to provide more like languages. Please bear with us, and then we will come back soon with the really broad languages, and then currently also myself and then the team still trying do trial with other tools, but while we progress on that, if you use Google Chrome, or if you use Google Chrome as a web engine, search engine, you can always choose the automatic translate from Google itself, so it's automatically translate. But thank you for the question, and it really give us the motivation to work harder to provide them more languages. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecil. And yeah, it's one of the many aspects of it that's still in development, and it's important to realise that the portal is still, a work in. Well, it's not a work in progress, but it will be something that will be added to and refined. Martina, thank you very much for your patience. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Also for this extremely interesting presentation and the debate. My question is, how are you planning and who is doing it, the learning out of this exercise? Because it will be maybe in a year or so, you will know how people have reacted, who used it. And so I'm quite sure that you have planned it already. But I'm always very interested in learning and then, of course, to spread the issue more and more around for other countries and languages. And so, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Martina. And Thelma, I think you are, very active in understanding who is using the portal and how well it is spreading. Would you like to talk a little bit about how we understand who the users are and where the users are coming from and which parts of the portal they're accessing?
Yes, for sure. Since thank you for your questions, dear madam. Since we got a lot of visitors from the global south, and particularly from the revenue administrations too. And since we have tried to since we have integrate the portal in Google, and the traffic has continued to grow high since most of the visitors come from revenue administrations.
Thank you, Anthelm. And Cecil?
Yeah, maybe I can add more to Antelm answer. So thank you, Martina, for the question. So in the tax aggregator portal, we connecting the portal to Google Analytics. We using Google Analytics. So we from a Google Analytics we can see clearly who's people who access the portal and in which page that they go through, like way more interest to learn, to open, and from which country, how long they use the portal, those kind of information that we continuously learning, we continuously update it. So that's our database that we use to improve our portal itself. I hope it answers
Thank
your
you
question.
very much. Yes, very interesting. Thank you.
Yes, and also we have been able to share with our connections. Let's say that, for example, I work at the university, so now I've been able to share with my colleagues and also some of the masters and PhD students who are doing something on tax issues, and I would say that they were really, really excited. And also, I think in a year or so we shall be having a lot of visitors at the portal, and also there will be a place where they will be able to leave their comments so that we can improve on our work and so that we can see where are the gaps. So I think that we would have a more improved and better version of this in a year.
Since sometimes, for instance, when I explore analytics, I use them to address the question of what people really need, because I track what they enter in the search bar or what they choose, like subtopic options from the filters. Since we use that to improve the resources and the materials to address the need of different peoples.
Super. Thank you all for your responses. We are nearing the turn of the hour, wherever you are in the world. And so again, you know, the journey with us for the last hour has just been sort of a fraction of our own travels in creating the resource of the portal. So we hope you've enjoyed coming along with us, and thank you for the questions. As I said, there is a link tree which I've added in the chat, and I'll do so again in a moment. At the bottom of that link tree is a little bit of a feedback form. It's just a way of for us, I suppose, of answering Martina's question a little bit more, of gathering a little bit more information of your thoughts on the portal, but also additional resources out there. The team in front of you on the screen has scoured the World Wide Web for available resources, but we are not perfect. So I'm sure there's other wonderful resources that we haven't been able to include. And as Susan indicated there, please keep your eye on the portal, because it will evolve and be added to and refined, and will be an ever moving feast. So thank you so much to the team for your input. Thank you very much to Gita and Atia from CFS and Capabuild, as well as Jan Martinez from the supervisory board, from all of the support down across the time it's taken us. A little bit of feedback there. We've got one final question about popularizing the portal, and basically that's over to all of you. Those of you who've used the portal, we urge you to share it on social media, spread the word. As Susan said, she's spread it with her connections, and Thelm is very active. Cecil Learnmore, wonderfully connected, and Waniki has been spreading it all around. So that's the only way that things really work, is through word of mouth. And so we encourage you to do that as widely as you can. Share it through email and social media, WhatsApp, and what have you. We're going to wrap things up, but the panel here will stay on board for as long as it takes. And if you would like to ask any further questions and come off your mic, feel free to in a safer space, I guess. But other than that, thank you all so much for your attendance, and we look forward to seeing you on the portal or in future training sessions.